Good morning, everyone.
Upside, are we on the front of everything that you had just outlined? Export controls, the easing of sanctions, tariffs. We see that constantly in official statements as well as in state media. There's some discussion that the Chinese might be pushing ahead with an expansion of a dialogue on AI. Some skeptics here have said that that might be a way that Chinese could delay the U.S. restrictions by having these discussions, because even though the Chinese have continuously pushed this idea, it's difficult to say whether or not they actually expect the U.S. to budge, because one of the problems with this discussion that we're seeing between President Xi and President Biden is that we haven't really seen any movement for a fundamental change on policy with both the United States or with China, for that matter.
Eunice, we'll watch it closely. Big meeting coming up on Wednesday. And of course, we'll be on the lookout for any kind of deliverables for corporates. That's our Eunice Yoon in Beijing. Look at Cramer's Mad Dash, count down to the opening bell here. Take a look at the pre-market. Still some red arrows as yields are a little elevated in the wake of that negative watch from Moody's on Friday. We'll talk about that as well after the break.
I am looking for shorts this morning. We couldn't get above yesterday's high, which was a good sign. Give me a few seconds, just gotta finish setting up. Finish setting up my institutional levels. But yeah, I'm looking for shorts this morning. 34. Right on the money. So tomorrow we have CPI tomorrow. It's gonna be very interesting.
Really?
Take a look at some S&P gainers. You'll see Boeing in there. I'm going to open up almost 4% or so. Got the Emirates order, which we'll talk about at the Dubai Air Show, and the prospect of China thawing
All
the
right.
freeze on MAX
5 minutes to
purchases.
go.
We'll get the opening bell in a couple of minutes. Don't forget, you can always catch us anytime, anywhere. Just listen to and follow the Squawk on the Street Opening Bell podcast.
All right. This market has been it's been testing all of our patience. But our patience is going to pay out pretty soon. Pretty soon. I'm looking for a pop on looking for a pop on ES to short. Tempted to possibly scale in. Taking a small one contract short on ES here. My entry is 44.1450. I'll leave room to add if it retests. These motherfuckers. Good morning, Queen. Mini, yeah. So I'm in one mini on ES short, and I'm looking to add. So ideally, I would love a break below 44.10 to add, and we could potentially slide all the way back down to Friday's low, or maybe down to 43.82 is what I'm going to be targeting. First target 43.82. Second target will be 43.59 area. Don't need this.
All right, we got an opening bell 3 minutes from now, but let's squeeze in a mad dash. Some research from Guggenheim on Warner Brothers Discovery caught your eye. That quarter last week, unfortunately, caught a lot of investors' eyes, and they didn't love it.
No, but this is in your wheelhouse. Guggenheim comes out today and says Warner Brothers Discovery has an NFL problem. By the way, 82 of the 100 most watched programs are the NFL this year.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, and they say that they could a Paramount or Fox bid, I would like to think merger of equals, could be the next play. Now, David, I need you, if possible. There was a piece by Deutsche Bank that threw cold water on Eli Lilly and Medicare. Can you throw cold
as am I.
water on
Short biased.
I think it's highly unlikely that you would see that kind of a deal. Warner Brothers Discovery, in particular, I don't think views Paramount as something that they need, or that even gives them enough scale. I think there's a sense that there's difficulty there, and you want to wait it out anyway and see how things settle.
How about the NBA?
I think the possibility of consolidation overall amongst these players, even the idea that our parent company Comcast, which was widely thought to be interested in Warner Brothers Discovery, when the tax ramifications of doing a deal expire,
Less than a minute.
in the spring of this year, I think that's, from what I understand, less likely now. There's just a different view of things right now, Jim. But Sports
If
programming
Tesla
and Warner
can't get
Brothers Discovery,
over
whether it's the
220
NFL, which they
today,
don't
short
have, or whether
back
it's
down to Friday's
the
low.
NBA, which they
Beautiful
do,
rejection on the 1
along
hour.
with the
Real
last
quick,
week,
7
that
seconds. Let's
it's
look
going
at
to be very hard
Nvidia.
for them to
Nvidia's
do the
looking
NBA
top
at the level
heavy.
the NBA
Looking
wants
for a
without a tech
short.
partner
A
of
break
mine. Sports
below
rights are a key here. They're putting a lot of pressure on these
482
companies,
even would be a
and
nice
that's why
short.
tech
All
has
right.
become
Yes,
so
let's get
important.
it.
The Amazons, the Apples, the Alphabets of the world, which can pay whatever they are demanding.
If you go back to the conference call of Amazon, they talked about how they got a 25% lift on Thursday Night Football and that they love it. So why wouldn't Amazon, by the way, is really attuned to the sports world as opposed to Google.
Yeah.
Even Google has the NFL package. They don't seem to monetize it.
Yeah, YouTube paid for Sunday tickets
See,
a lot, maybe
that
way
was
more
the
than they
most-
should have.
That was the biggest takeaway for me of your great interview.
Thank you.
Beautiful. I'm adding to my ES short. Nasdaq is pulling. I'm seeing some divergence on the 30-minute and 15-minute time frame.
Shares like target date ETFs at the Nasdaq Healthcare Company, Skin Health Company, Beekman 1802, and Ulta Beauty for World Kindness Day.
I think that it's great to see kind of for Christmas. That's like they have
Oh,
that's a great.
there
series
goes
of gifts.
Nasdaq.
That's what people buy.
Oh, yes.
You know, I don't think it's too soon to be thinking about what's going to be bought for the holidays because we're inundated with holiday ads in the NFL. It does seem that I look at it and I just think, wow. I mean, these companies are advertising like, man, they must feel some strength.
Nasdaq is sliding beautifully.
Advertisers, they're going to do it on the NFL. We just mentioned it. I mean, basically, television is the NFL. Like, there's not much else.
And the NFL television.
NFL accounted for 82 of the 100 most watched programs, including 19 of the top 20 during the 2022-23
See,
season.
I think college. We talk about the Big Ten package.
Yeah.
It's good. Will Comcast action then?
Yeah.
Well, it's Comcast's parent company's network.
Yes, it is.
College has
There we
something
go.
to advertise. I don't want to leave it out.
Colorado's been
There we
in Super
go.
Bowls.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But look, there's no doubt about it. I mean, look, we all sit around. Let's say you do fantasy. I did daily fantasy. Didn't do so well, but I did fantasy like so many other people. And you have to watch the fourth quarter. The secret of the NFL is that the fourth quarter is about fantasy. Jason Robbins from DraftKings will tell you that. Most games, if it's a blowout, you just turn it off. If it's a blowout in fantasy,
Hold on, Nas is
We saw
reversing.
the record 5 walk-off field goal
oh my God.
decisions
The
this
NFL
weekend,
was
right?
just heart-stopping this weekend. It was just, I don't even know how to rank it other than to say that it was just a giant windfall for Fox and CBS.
Hard stopping. Watching the New York Jets is mind-numbing.
That's true.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of great games.
Yeah, there were. As for the box office, The Marvels is going to be the lowest open for an MCU film.
Maybe people all looked at the NFL, so they didn't go.
Yeah.
Well, that latest
That's
Marvel
devastating.
movie did not get well reviewed and has not
So
done
much
well.
back and
more than
forth.
I think more than 100 million below the open of its predecessor. And there's only one MCU film on deck for next year, which is Deadpool 3. Of course, a lot of discussion about the degree to which Disney went over its skis on this kind of content. Iger talked about it last week. Take a listen.
There we go. We're breaking down.
We did have 4 really strong titles, and 4 of the top 10 in the past year, led by Avatar, of course. But there were other successes too. That said, as I've looked at our overall output, meaning the studio, it's clear that the pandemic created a lot of challenges creatively for everybody,
Beautiful,
including
beautiful.
for us. In addition,
Beautiful.
at the time the pandemic hit,
Beautiful.
we
Let's
were
go.
leaning into a huge increase in how much we were making. And I've always felt that quantity can be actually a negative when it comes to quality, and I think that's exactly what happened. We lost some focus.
Look, I think that this is
Beautiful slide. There you go. Oh my God, my ad was just lovely. Let's go. Let's go.
But, is Nelson Peltz
Yo,
going to help
yo.
them make better choices in terms of movies?
Oh, here's short and man. Short ES. Short EU. Yeah. I added at the open on a little pop. Cost average is 44.15. Come on, yeah, I'm looking for this to break below last night's low. 44.09 to add. There we go, baby. Yes, do it for me. Do it for me.
Ike's position to use as a
Yes,
significant
sir.
wedge.
Look, I'm sure Ike is
somehow.
saying, look, this
By the
is
way, the latest thing I can tell you is, just so you know, that
what do you got?
no, that I mean, I have no
Marvelous,
interest in having Nelson Peltz on that.
marvelous.
I think that Nelson just wants to see what happens. If I were Nelson,
Right
I
out
want
the
to see
gate,
what
baby.
happens
Get
because
yourself.
you did
Get
get
yourself.
good numbers for
Tell them put some respect
for
on my
speeding.
name.
And I don't know. There's some
I'm
people
gonna
who feel
put
like
in
that
another
the contact
ad
was lowballed,
at
the impact was a
44
strike. But the
15 if it
most
comes
cuts
back
are when
to it.
Nelson's been won
Let's
it,
go,
and the
let's
plan
go.
for
Right
cost
out the
of
red,
7.5
baby.
billion are when
Ooh, we
Nelson won it.
dancing.
So when you get what Nelson wants,
We
why did Nelson
dancing.
count?
I'm also eyeing ZL, but I'm gonna
You
wait
mentioned the strike,
for a bit.
and certainly this
Probably like a little bit after
National
London.
Board has recommended approval of that tentative. What do you make of this deal at Ford
Yeah.
and GM, where some locals, Jim,
Yeah,
are
that'd be
narrowly voting
clutch.
against
Let me
that
see.
tentative?
It's just incredible how hard this thing is to resolve. And I know
Yeah,
that
I got an
Ford
alert
is
if it
so
gets below
anxious to put this behind them.
49.62.
They know that they've got
If it
warranty
does,
issues.
I'm
They know
snagging.
that
I'm
they
snagging.
now have a
Honestly, right
challenge
here
from
might
Ross.
not be too bad at
What they really
50.10.
need is just a break.
Oversold. If the market starts selling off, this thing is gonna reverse.
It's going to improve, but I think the real issue here is
I'll keep it. I'll keep it. I'll wait. I'll wait.
And our EVs waning.
I'll wait. Let's go.
And I think EVs are waning for a host of reasons, and hybrids are doing well.
Well, Phil was talking to Dan Amman about that, who now runs low
Let's
carbon
go,
solutions on
let's
ExxonMobil,
go.
which is another story, but obviously once ran
The
Cruise
up,
for
up, up,
GM.
up.
Of course, he didn't really want to offer very much, sadly. But that's a key point here. Although there is still growth in EVs. It's not as though,
Slide
Jim,
for me.
they're not
Ooh.
growing. It may
We
not
break-
be
we
growing
break
at
the
quite rate
lows.
that it
Come
was
on.
or that was
But
anticipated.
after that strike, David, you have to start
Like,
feeling that if
who
Ford
wants
wants
to
to make
smoke?
more money, they got to put more resources toward hybrid.
All right. Hey, not bad. I mean, if you caught the top of that bounce, you're up 7, 8, 9 points. Take it. To be honest, I might take some partials right here. Cause I added. So right now on my first position, I'm up for 4 or 5 points. I added at 44.17. Damn, that's looking good. I hope we get a pullback. You sure I'm in queue? There we go. Let's get it. Let's go.
I think that we're slowing in growth. I think that we're
Let's
producing
go.
13.2 million barrels in this country. Slowly, we've been overproducing. And who knows what the heck Russia's doing, but I know that the world's low on oil. And that is very bad for our oil companies. And David, it's very bad for Exxon.
Could be, but Exxon's news today
Yeah,
is that they're going
let's
to be a
go,
leader
baby.
in supplying electric vehicles by 2030 with lithium. And the reason that
So-
Dan Amman joined Squawk Box this morning was to talk
to
about
us
this.
nice.
They acquired
Talk to us
120,000
nice,
gross
baby.
acres of
Break those lows,
Smackover
man. Come on,
Formation
break
in
those
southern
lows.
Arkansas. Considered one of the most prolific lithium
Come on,
resources
break them lows,
of
baby.
its type in
Break
North
them
America.
You want to go down
lows.
there, you and me? Get that thing straightened out?
What are we going to straighten out down
Go down to Arkansas,
and straighten what out?
cover it, see if it's real.
Oh, you don't think it's real?
Come on, baby.
What do you mean?
I
What
thought
are you
there was
talking
big
about?
lithium, you know, we have rare metals and
Nasdaq
Arizona.
is just
You know what,
sliding,
David?
baby. Ooh,
Show me
she
the
just
money.
going.
Well, it's going to be a while till there's money.
Yeah,
But the 26 is when they start
Come on.
in Arkansas. Yeah.
But low carbon solutions at Exxon is for real. Now, there are those who wish they were even spending more money and or more capital. Certainly not just lithium, but carbon capture,
Alright.
and obviously even direct carbon capture, which Oxy is sort of involved with trying to do. They announced a deal last week with BlackRock. That seems to me to be a real question mark as to
Well-
whether that's going to actually ever be a certainly even at scale can never really work to
But you know,
to actually create profits that would give people the impetus to
Need you to
spend
break.
money.
Need you to break for me.
one large independence. And he's
There we
just
go. Come
saying,
on, break them
"You've
lows
got
for
to
me.
see what
Break
we're doing
them
with
lows.
the
Don't play with me. Don't
Like
play with me.
methane was such a
Just
big
break those
problem.
lows.
And down
So I
there,
have
they
one
really
take
cut
profit.
back.
I'm
Oil
gonna
companies,
take
I
one
think, are
contract off on
better
ES
citizens than they
at
usually have.
44.0850, which is the
And then
low
you've got the
of the
likes
day
of
as of
ExxonMobil
now.
electrifying its operations
Come
in the
on,
Permian, which, by the way, back to the
show
story I
me.
cited earlier in the journal, is
Come
putting
on, the
even
way
more pressure
Nasdaq
on
is
the
sliding,
grid
there's no
in
way. Come on,
Texas and
baby.
New Mexico, where
Keep it
electricity
going.
production
Oof,
has to
oof,
increase
oof,
and will.
oof.
Right.
But the demands are certainly
I'm
increasing
going to follow
significantly.
that.
Marvelous,
I'm going to
marvelous,
get that. I'm going to get who exactly
marvelous.
what goes into a
Happy
data center
Money
that builds it.
Monday.
I know that.
I want data on data centers. I want to understand how many are being built at any one
If you
time in
haven't
this
moved your
country,
stop loss
where
into
they're being built.
profits or
I wanna
break
understand
even,
their
do
power
so, because
supply. I wanna know
we
what's
know
going
this market the
in
way
them,
it's been.
who's
I mean,
providing
it takes a
everything
while
that
for it
is
to drop,
going
and
into a
literally
data
within
center.
one
Okay,
candle,
so
it'll
what is the
undo
number one
everything.
business for Caterpillar? Data center.
Really?
Everyone thinks it's China. China isn't even
Come on, baby, break those lows.
Right,
Break
China's
those
not a
lows.
large
So
contributor to
Nasdaq's
revenue.
under
If
its
you want to
low
build a data center, you
of
need
the
Caterpillar.
day.
Of course, no one likes Caterpillar.
Let's take a
Porter is,
look.
like widely dismissed. But that's
Dow,
what
not
they go into
so
infrastructure
much.
and they go into data
ES
center.
is
Data
slacking.
center is a great growth area.
Come on,
Carl, but,
dude.
you know, everybody shrugs that we could be having a reshoring
Massive
industrial revolution.
divergence. Who's
as we
playing games here?
We have it going.
Yeah, yeah. Conversely, Boeing back to 205, Jim. This Emirates deal is pretty big. 95 jets, almost 60 billion. Regardless of whether China agrees to
That's why
resume MAX
Dow,
purchases, do
Dow's
you
up.
like this?
Yeah, because Boeing gets the large orders that we used to go to Airbus because they don't make, Airbus can't make the largest plane anymore because there's only a few
Come on.
airports.
Nasdaq is still going.
And that
Come
was
on, ES.
Emirates is done with, and Emirates was the biggest buyer of the Airbus.
Yeah, I'm
Big
really
planes,
being
the
greedy
ones
right
that
now.
had
Like,
the
I'm
city
literally just
was-
looking for like
This is
another
a great deal
2-point
for
drops.
Boeing,
Like, I should
and
just
I
take
think
profits
this is why
here.
my channel just owned Boeing, but somehow I got talked out of it, and that was all she wrote.
What's interesting is that we do have a sell on Southwest today out of Melius, in part because of the
Yeah,
problems that
I wanted to
Boeing
break
posed
those lows
for
too, man.
Southwest coming out
I
of the
think it's
pandemic.
going to.
Southwest is a joke-like situation.
I definitely see it breaking these lows. Like, I'm trying not to be too greedy.
And they're also in the worst areas.
They're in
Go
the
back to
worst
Boeing
areas?
for-
What does that mean, the worst
Well,
areas?
it isn't like they have. You needed the international flights. That's where the gouging is.
I'm setting a take profit for one contract at 44.0975. Let's see if I get that.
That didn't happen this time because the legacies had so much government aid.
Well, that's a good point. I just think that Southwest, they were hurt. They were definitely Southwest was probably hurt by Raytheon technology. I mean, Southwest is hurt no matter what happens because Southwest does not have the roots. Remember, they don't go to the.
Then they had some serious technology issues.
Right.
All right, so I just dropped one contract of ES at 44.0975. That's the contract that I got short before the open at 44.14 and change. I have a runner now from 44.17 and a half, and I'm gonna set a stop loss at 44.12. So I'm gonna set a stop loss at 44.12. If it comes up to that, I'll get stopped out, and then I'll just relook to enter. I do have a sell limit at 44.14. I would love a pop back up there to re-add what I've taken off, but let's see if I get
It's just
that.
not a great business. It's back to not being a great business because oil's not good, and mostly because soon change it so
Come on
you
with your
don't
bad
have
self.
big execs flying up
Come
front.
on with your
You
bad
just have
self.
tourists. There's been a kind of a degradation of the tourist traffic, but the people who don't work at the office do not also commute anywhere. By the way, Dave, you see the study which says people who work at home, people working at home don't commute, which says that they basically don't work. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that study. No.
Did you see that? I mean, the people who don't work at home, I mean, look, people work at home. It's not like you're looking at them and saying, hey, what are you up to? I mean, they have a jacket on their chair. I don't know
It's
for
the
sure.
world we live in now. I think many companies are happy with 3. They asked for 4. They're happy to get 3. Friday everywhere is just a ghost town. I mean, it's you walk down around here, there's nothing.
Don't you think you can
Nobody
really
on the
advance
scene.
rapidly?
Nasdaq is still dropping slowly. The
Absolutely.
sales is kind of slowing down.
Kids.
Still divergence. So right now I'm seeing massive divergence on the 30-minute time frame. Nasdaq is just dropping. Dow is still holding, and we could probably attribute the Dow still holding due to the Boeing news. As you guys heard on CNBC, Boeing is one of the stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial. So seeing that they just got some sort of deal with Emirates where it's going to be about 60 billion in revenue for Boeing. So that's probably gonna hold the Dow Jones up in this range until maybe later in the afternoon, where then we could see it potentially slide to catch up with ES and Nasdaq. ES and Nasdaq have both created lower highs. Nasdaq has taken out Nasdaq has taken out the morning's low. Dow's holding, right? And ES, we're still waiting for ES to take out these lows. Once ES takes out these lows, oh man, we could slide real quick down to 43.82. I'm trying to hold out for that. Let's just hope I don't get stopped out. So either way, profitable. One runner on the ES mini. Average is 44.1750. Stop loss is now at 44.12. If I get stopped out, I have a re-add at 44.15. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys are asking or wondering, why did I set a sell limit at 44.15? Well, that's the area where we really broke down during the Asian session to create the low, and you can see this massive consolidation. So if we get a spike, we could get a spike back up into that 14.15, 14.17 area and continue to the downside. If we break above and possibly spike to 44.24, I'll look to add and then ride this puppy down. This 1 hour time frame, I'm seeing an M pattern formation, and M pattern formation is a short. So the full completion of the M pattern would be a retest of 43.59. Also keep in mind that tomorrow we have CPI. All right, so 8:30 Eastern tomorrow is CPI, which stands for Consumer Price Index. And what that means, it's how they measure the healthiness of the economy. Like, are people spending money? Are people not spending money? I'm thinking that tomorrow's numbers is going to be high to the point where we're going to see a nice flush. And remember that overall 2 weeks ago we had a gap. Okay, we had a gap up all the way down here at 44.36. So this gap has to be filled. Obviously you can't see it on a 4 hour time frame, but if you were to go down to like a 15 or a 30-minute time frame, you'll be able to see it.
And Walmart is cheap everywhere. More fashionable. They don't have the same shrink problem.
They don't. Sometimes they have like lease in stores. Nobody's better than TJX. That always undercover guys. But David, I want you to go with me to 2 of my Walmarts. And they're gonna blow you away. You will not believe this. And then the stuff by the way, I don't want to talk about it, but it's like bang.
On ES? Yeah. I took like a little over 4 points on my first contract. I still have 1 contract left, which my average on that one is 44.1750. I've moved my stop loss to 44.12, so I'll still walk away with at least 5 points on that contract. And I know this thing is gonna drop, but they might play around and try to run the highs one more time, which is why like I'm just gonna anytime I get in profits, like I'm gonna protect the profits, and it's coming up to where I might get stopped out. That's fine, I'll take that, and then we just look to re-enter.
That'll get me in.
David, the 48 waist is finished.
34.
And even Tyson Foods is up.
Yeah, because of Wegovy. Yeah, it's done.
It's just that
48 waist.
Walmart's not Brioni, but it's not that far.
That's a good quote. We'll see what we get later in the week. Big week for retail earnings. Quick reminder, you can always get in on the CNBC Investing Club with Jim. Sign up and find out more at cnbc.com/join the club, or just use the QR code on your screen. Takes you right there. As we go to break, man, Fed speak, almost 24 speakers this week over the next 5 days. Right now, yields are a bit elevated again on the news of that Moody's negative credit or negative watch on Friday night. We'll be right back.
Got stopped out of my ES runner. Okay, sell limit at 44.15. Let's see if I get that. Okay. All right. Come on, give me that fill. Come on. Oh, almost there. Almost there. 2 more points, man. 2 more points to the refill. Come on, baby. There we go. Come on. Give it to me. Nah, not yet. I got it at 44.15. I'm hoping it fills me. It got so close. It's like literally 2 points away. Damn, maybe I should take the 13. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna move it down to 44.13. What's yesterday?
Tyson was down pre-market on this revenue guidance, looking for flat revenue in fiscal 24. Beef volumes continue to fall, Jim, down almost 7.
Well, I mean, this is the first time they even came near the so I think therefore people said maybe this is the bottom. You know, it's a company. By the way, we never talk about it, but the one thing you need if you take these Wegovys, you got to have a massive amount of protein, massive. That should play right into their hands.
Yeah.
No one's talking about a massive amount of protein.
Also, corn futures today, 3-year lows.
Yeah, so they got the margins
Come
going for.
on, man.
But it's an exciting day, Paul. I'm just still reeling from David's. You know, he doesn't understand.
Is on wheat.
Any target for SPY shorts? Let's take a look.
We'll take a break here. It's down almost 40.
SPY short targets would be 340, 434. So look at this area right here where we bounce. So I would say at least target 433, 434 area. We go to a higher time frame like the 4 hour. Once we break, once we get a daily close or even a 4 hour close below 433, we could see an unwind all the way down to 425. Ooh, damn, Nas. To 425, and then ultimately the gap fill, which is going to be down at the 410 area. It's crazy that like I definitely should have been watching this on a higher time frame, because once price came down and it held above 410 and closed right back above it, it was a long, good God, there she goes, there she goes. You haters, man, stop me out and then break. Half a this hurts my feelings. Bro, literally. Man, I couldn't get the ad. Y'all just couldn't give me the ad, huh? Haters. Bro, gone. Still in the air short since the open. My guy, nice. Damn, bro. Why y'all gonna do me like that? It's all good. It's all good. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down. Haters. They don't want to see me win. Okay. I still got my ad at 44.15. It's all good. Good morning so far. Tesla's the only stock I'm seeing still currently positive on the day. Nvidia's negative 60 cents. Apple minus 2 points. Oof. Oh boy.
5.
That's on Friday.
It's time for Jim and stop trading.
Last year at this time, NVIDIA was at 149. Now it's at 482. Today, NVIDIA unveiled its H200. Now, this is the highest high-end chip for training AI models. This one's not on the table with China. This has already been ruled out. But this is going to be the fastest, and it will not be hot burning. So David won't have to worry about his
grid.
Yes, won't have to worry about his grid. And it says right here, it will not supplant humans. Does not say that, but it's very important to know that this is the one that everyone's been waiting for, because it burns soft and it is the one that
keep it that way.
Make it so that you can do executive decisions. It's no longer just
listen, Queen, if you're done for the day, you better stick to that.
You got a smart guest on tonight.
I have Sarah Eisen, Formula One, taking the world by storm. Oh my God! Look at that! It's squack on the street.
Oh, squack on the street.
No, it's not. This is a special.
I think we're gonna go with
It's not squawk. It's squack tonight.
Just beautiful downside on MQ.
Oh, look at Sarah there, the racing pit.
I was supposed to race, but did a Coca-Cola 500. It had the fewest people ever watch any program in the history of CNBC. It was really great. Came in number 78 to 78, and we disavowed any knowledge of it, like Mission Impossible. But this will not be like that.
No, it won't. This is going to be widely
Yes.
This is
That's what I'm thinking.
NVIDIA, David. This is it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, there's a ton of
Bro,
buzz.
the last couple weeks they've been doing it.
See it 6. Mad Money, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
The last couple weeks they've been doing it. It's like, yo, drop, and then literally before London closes, undoes the movement, and then swing it back down towards the end of the day. So let's see. Sell limit at, oh no, 14.13. Oh, I might get filled. Come on, we're almost there. Come on, don't make me. Don't. There we go. Come on, get me. Get me. Get me. Playing, man. They're playing. They're playing with a brother. Yo, last week, dude, yo, I accidentally on Friday, like at the end of the day, I accidentally did 25 contracts short on one account. Yeah, like I don't know what's up with Trading View, with TradeOvate sometimes. It's like I log off and then my whole setup, like, huh? What? Mm-hmm. Um, Yeah, but this on top of the delay, like it be ungrouping my accounts. So you know how like, all right, like I'm doing 20 accounts at the same time, and then everything I do is, you know what I'm saying, is times 20 and whatever. So somehow I accidentally like switched it to 25, and they something happened where the accounts got ungrouped. So I did 25 contracts, but all the 25 contracts went under one account instead of all 20 and whatever. And I was just like, what the, yo, bro, I got out of that shit so quick. I mean, I ended up getting out of it profitable, but I was just like, damn, like, and then I go and I look and I'm like, yo, I'm like, why the hell the accounts are ungrouped? And like just this morning again, I had to like set up my whole thing again. The two charts with the dome and whatever. Like this weekend, I set up bracket orders and stuff like that. And yeah, bro, and it's like I gotta set all that shit right back up again. I was like, shit's mad annoying.
Good Monday morning, and welcome to another hour of Squawk on the Street. I'm Sarah Eisen with Carl
Yeah.
Quintanilla and David Faber, live for you as always from Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, it's just
Take a look
mad
at
annoying.
stocks here in the
It's
early
like,
action. Minor declines.
get your shit
S&P's
right.
down about 0.4%. The Dow's lower by 37%. Nasdaq down 0.7. We're going to get some key economic reports this week, including inflation. Number of sectors on the move for you as
They're
well
really, yo, so
to take a
close,
look
and
at
like
here
they
as
really
we.
not.
Well, actually,
They
let's look
really
at
want me to
bonds. There's
chase,
the
man.
10-year
I
note
don't
yield
want to freaking
below 4.7%,
chase.
a little bit firmer this morning. The 2-year yield above 5%. 30-year we're watching carefully after an auction disappointed last week, 4.8%. Next biggie is the long bond auction on Monday, November 20th. We're 30 minutes into the trading session here. Here are three big movers we're watching. NVIDIA unveiling a new lineup of AI chips customized for China amid strict export restrictions from the U.S. officials on the name. The stock is up a bit. Gas giant ExxonMobil announcing that it has started to domestically drill for lithium, a key component in electric vehicles, after purchasing drilling rights earlier this year in a long-term bet on the EV sector. And then watch shares of Tyson Foods today under pressure after revenue misses estimates for the quarter, and the forecast also comes in disappointing. As I mentioned, the inflation report, that's going to be the hallmark economic report coming out this week, and we're also going to get PPI on top of CPI. So Tuesday and Wednesday, important there. We're also going to get retail sales, which we'll be watching, a number of retail earnings to gauge how the consumer's doing. I think the commentary almost is more important sometimes on these. Home Depot, TJ Maxx, Walmart. TJX has been an outperformer on value. But we're also, and it's not on the calendar, but we've got this government shutdown potentially
There we
looming
go.
again.
I'm
They have a
filled
Friday
at
deadline, so here
44.13.
we go again, which is also
All right.
problematic. I'm not sure the market moves
So,
so much on shutdowns, but
advice on
we have a
being
heightened
able to
focus
hold
and
a
worry on the
position
fiscal
longer.
situation in America.
It just comes down to conviction in your analysis, right? So right now, you're seeing that your analysis is spot on, and maybe you're taking too big of a position where you're not giving the trade the proper amount of time to to hit your TP. So either downsize your position so you can hold it overall to your target, or just straight up have conviction in your analysis and accept one of three things is gonna happen. Either you're going to get stopped out for a loss, or you're going to hit your take profit, or at least close to your take profit. So for me, something that I do is like I do most of the time get out several points prior to my overall take profit, just because sometimes I just know like the way the market is, it'll come like a tick or 5 ticks or a point or 2 points away from my overall TP, and then I get and then reverses. So for me, I tend to get out a couple of points prior. So for example, let's say that, so today my overall target on ES is 43.82, right? I'll probably exit out, like now that I've re-entered, and let's say it starts breaking down, I'll probably get out at like 43.87 or 43.86 or 85. I don't need to hold it to that precise point, because early in my career when I did that, I would end up allowing a winning trade to become a loss, because I was so fixated on getting to that precise penny, right? So have your analysis, have conviction in it, accept. And even right now, even though you're taking profits too quick, it's still adding up, right? So at some point you're gonna build a certain amount of cushion in your account where you'll get comfortable to allow the trade either to go to TP or take the loss. And another thing you can do is scale in and scale out of your position, right? So you saw that I started at 44.14, I added at 44.17, and then I took the trade off as it started coming down, right? And then I set it into to stop me out at take profit. Now at this point, it did end up dropping and taking out the lows, but okay, I missed out on a couple more points, but so be it. There's going to be other opportunities. So continue taking the small wins that you're taking, let it add up, and as they continue to add up, you're going to continue to gain confidence in yourself, in your strategy, in the method, your analysis, and you're going to end up getting to a point where you're going to let the trade really ride to where your take profit is. And at the same time with that, it's a double-edged sword, because every time that you do wait for that overall take profit, let's say it gets close to it or half the way of the movement, and you don't book profits, and then it reverses on you and you end up getting stopped out at break even or for a loss. So at any given moment, like when you're in profits, it's okay to take it, especially right now. Well, the last year or so, how the conditions of the market have been, it's extremely volatile. Like this is a stick and move. Come in, make your money, keep it pushing. If you leave money on the table, we're always gonna leave money on the table. We're not gonna always catch every single dime. So accept those facts, and you know what I mean, and just work on, you know what, today I held my trade for maybe 15 minutes. Tomorrow, let me shoot to let it hold it for an additional 5 minutes, right? So it's little things that you can do incrementally that will
Basically, it's your target now, right? That's right. You feel good sort of standing pat for the next 6 weeks?
Pretty good. We still think a couple things.
it's little things like that that you're gonna do
Be a little bit more defensive.
that you can do to slowly get it. Like it's not something that you're gonna do overnight. By next week, you're not gonna be at a point where you're gonna be holding your trade every single time to your designated target, right? Because every day in the market, the conditions change, right? So, but whatever you do, accept it, so that way you're not having FOMO, that way you're not revenge trading, that way you don't feel like, oh, you left money on the table, you could have done this and whatever. Journal, write everything down, and every day, every week, try to improve on it by a little, right? You don't have to go from barely holding the trade, and now you're holding the trade for 2 hours, and then next thing you know, that trade becomes a loss or whatever. So little incremental moves to be able to help you get closer to actually holding the trades a little bit longer. And sometimes it could just be, overall confidence in the strategy, and then your position size. Like if I'm in a crazy size in the market, like I'm not holding that trade for that long. Once I see some profits, like I'm gonna stop booking profits, scaling out, moving my stop loss, and then just ensuring that if I do get stopped out, I'm only getting stopped out at break even or slightly in profits.
Still some work to do, consequences to be had.
There's a lot of work to do. If you look at duration is in really weak hands, right? What we've done is we've mispriced duration for a long period of time. SVB was an event, not a clearing event. A lot of those portfolios are still underwater. A lot of the duration players don't have the risk to put on. And if you can't do that, right, we could see rates back up pretty aggressively. Rates backed up, they just floated up, not for fundamental reasons.
Yeah, definitely you don't want to be hard on yourself, man. It's like the market be tough as it is. Life in general be tough as it is. And, what I mean? There's no need to be beating yourself down. We're not going to be perfect. I mean, myself, I'm not a perfect trader. Warren Buffett, George Soros, Carl Icahn, like none of these people are like perfect traders, or they're right all the time. You know what I mean?
It's been pretty aggressive. And I think people
So be kind to yourself.
A lot of the bigger cap companies have rallied. They're going to come out with something positive, but I
Beautiful. Oh, that was such a lovely ad at the 44.13, up 3 points on that re-ad on ES. I'm kind of possibly maybe debating, maybe rocking with start scaling into maybe NQ. I'm not sure. I'm thinking about it. Like, huh?
and we saw margins expand. We saw revenue go from contraction to growth. Something
Yeah.
happening on the fundamental side that we did not expect. And it
Let's see.
See it again, right? We had our first quarter-over-quarter year of EPS growth since third quarter of 22.
That's right. And here's a funny thing. The qualitative and the quantitative aren't matching. If you look at, you talk to C-suite all the time. What are they saying? They're saying, hey, the consumer's difficult, the economy's difficult, rates are higher, lions and tigers and bears don't know. But you look at the quantitative information, and it's much, much better. And it's broad-based, right? You thought that the margin expansion was only going to be
Absolutely.
It's broad-based. It's across sectors. It's across stocks. A lot of people are talking about productivity enhancements. And that's a sticky. That's something that stays around for a while.
Finally, one thing you said during the summer was that
That's
the Fed rate
facts.
pause might allow
Yeah.
AI to go next level.
And you're mainly trading Tesla, right? I'm very surprised to be seeing someone that's trading options, or mainly trading options in here in the futures.
Technology often advances, and we have a couple of wars going on. There could be some applications from those wars that filter.
Because I'm pretty sure there's some option traders on the platform. So why me?
As we go to break, let's get our roadmap for the rest of the hour, including where to put your money to work in tech. We'll check in with Webbush's Dan Ives, get his predictions for the new year.
Plus the read on China as San Francisco hosts those leaders for that APEC summit. What is at stake for our two countries?
And Formula One star Toto Wolff with us this hour from a huge Grand Prix in Las Vegas and a new documentary airing on CNBC on Thursday. It's an interview you do not want to miss. He's one of those famous team bosses as head of Mercedes. We'll be right back.
Okay, douse. Nice red candle. You sure about that? Nah, y'all pretty smart yourselves too. Oh, massive reversal on Tesla. Oh. Mm. Tesla full stop reversal. Hell yeah, bro. Yo, complete flip around from 211.80s. It's now up above the pre-market high slightly and looks to push. NQ's pushing. Yeah, I'm gonna be I'll be closing out of my I'm gonna take this small loss on ES, just 1 point. I don't like this on Tesla. Nvidia's gone green on the day as well. Jeez. Ugh, yo. I knew it, yo. Before the end of the year, we're probably gonna see Nvidia at like 550, 560. Apple giving regaining some back. Meta done gone positive on the day. Microsoft is still pretty red. AMD. Let's look at AMD. Nice, bro. Very, very nice. Listen, you keep doing these $500-600 a day, $800 days. Like those are gonna add up real quick, right? Now, ooh, okay. So this is what you're gonna want to do with that. Once, let's say once you've grown your account by 50%, okay? Once you've grown it by 50%, you want to take something out. All right? You want to pay yourself. All right? Once you pay yourself, if you've grown the account by 50%, repeat the same process again. All right? Once you repeat the same process again and you grow it and whatnot, split the account. So if you end up growing your account by 100%, take out your initial investment and just put it to the side. And then take the profit money and work that out. Double it, triple it, right? And every time you grow it by 30 or 50%, pay yourself, all right? Take some money out. Go treat yourself to something. Don't go popping crazy amount of bottles and this and a third, right? But go and treat yourself to something. Maybe go have a lunch or something. Buy yourself a monitor or something that you're going to use and whatnot. And then at that point, just continue repeating the same process. And every time you grow the account, you take a little bit, out, so that way your account continues to compound in growth. But so is your withdrawals and what you're going to be paying yourself.
They know it's coming eventually. The question is when, and perhaps on Wednesday when Xi and Biden meet, there will be some news, as at least a commitment to order rates.
Phil, it's a perfect place for us to start with our next guest. We are going to talk about China and Boeing. Thank you, Phil. As I just said, of course, that highly anticipated meeting is coming up between President Biden and China's President Xi. That'll be on Wednesday at the so-called APEC summit. It'll be in San Francisco. Our next guest says, quote, all issues are now on the table. Let's bring in Jeff Moon, former assistant U.S. trade rep for China and China Moon Strategies founder and president. Jeff, always appreciate your joining us to take us through. So why do you say
nice bounce. Wow. Yeah. If I left that 49, 80 some 87 buys, I would have gotten filled, but I'm looking for this might be done, bro. I'm gonna try a little something at 49 49.95. Yeah, it's not that far. And looking at the previous hourly candle, jeez.
They are talking about the full range, a number of things they weren't willing to talk about before: military to military relations, climate, maybe fentanyl, talk about AI. So we are talking about a much broader range of issues, and this cycle that China has gone through to punish the U.S. for the Pelosi visit is now coming to a conclusion, and hopefully we can get back to serious business. And there's no time to lose. There's a lot that's happening in the world that requires the attention of countries.
Yeah, there is an awful lot. You know, it's funny, we were covering Singles Day in China, and I was thinking, I was there 9 years ago in Shanghai, and how it was, you know, the relationship between the two countries, China's economy, you know, things are so different now, but you seem to believe that they hit bottom. I'm not talking about their economy. I'm talking about relations between China and the U.S. You do believe that sort of things can actually get better? Because all we've done in the last 9 years.
Sincerity, concessions, and then eventually they restore the relationship. So that's what's happening right now. It just so happens the same thing is happening with Australia on a different way.
All right, bro.
So what's going to happen at this summit is that China is rolling out a lot of these sorts of ceremonial or procedural things that they've done in conjunction with other summits, people relations, a dinner with the business community, things like that. But unlike in previous summits, there's not going to be much of a budge on substance.
I just wonder how the world geopolitics changes the dynamic now, Jeff, because what's happened is that China and the U.S. are backing different horses in Russia, Ukraine, and in Israel, Hamas. And so this isn't just about U.S.-China relations anymore.
No, absolutely not. Another thing that's happened is very interesting. Over the past year and a half, while China has been, quote, punishing the United States, they've also been putting out a series of global governance initiatives, defining what they think is their vision for moving forward in the world. And it's very different from the democratic vision. This is something that a way to justify the authoritarian system that they have. But the Chinese now claim that they have a better way than the West does, and they're shopping it to the global South. And so you have a point. We are seeing a division between the U.S. and China in the way that they're trying to lead the world through the governance systems and the visions that they have.
Yeah, when we think about geopolitics right now in this dangerous place we seem to be, Jeff, I mean, there's an idea that Russia, China, even Iran are sort of coalescing in not a good way for us. That wouldn't seem to necessarily set up a great dynamic for this meeting.
No, well, this meeting is really a bilateral meeting, and I think that they're going to talk about a lot of the bilateral issues. I mean, that's where you get into things like trade or other things, but there will be an international component and a multinational component. They will talk about Ukraine. They will talk about the Middle East. One way Iran comes into the picture is that actually in the Middle East, Iran can talk to China can talk to various factions through Iran that the U.S. cannot. And so the Chinese could actually be helpful in terms of getting Iran to be more amenable to negotiation and moderating behavior.
Right. And final, real quick, do you think they will include a Boeing order in here?
I think they probably will. This is something that has frequently happened in the past, in past summits. When I was in the State Department, I've been in meetings where they've come in and we've talked about the number of planes they're going to be bought. So this is not anything different. It is not a concession, I don't think, to the United States. This is a way for China to signal that it wants to do business with the United States. And so I wouldn't be surprised at all if this is an accurate report.
All right. Jeff, always appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Big week for retail earnings. Walmart, Target, Home Depot, all on deck. We're going to unveil our new CNBC retail tracker and what it tells you about Main Street spending behavior right now. Numbers may surprise you. Stay with us. Back in 2 with the Dow down about 50 points.
Okay. Order filled. Swag. I'm short NQ, but I'm trading the micro. Yeah, MNQ. I just got short at 15,510. Hey, yo, time's flying by this morning. It's already 10:30. Oh, excuse me.
See. After the break, Wedbush's Dan Ives with his tech predictions for the new year. He says the new tech bull market has begun. Plus, billionaire motorsport executive and CEO of the Mercedes Formula One team, Toto Wolff. There he is talking to me ahead of this documentary that is going to air on Thursday. He's going to join us, though, next ahead of a huge race week in Las Vegas. Tons of money being spent on this. We're going to talk about what's at stake when we come back in just 2 minutes.
Mm.
85.55.
Tech is coming off of this huge rally last week, now up 10% for the month. Our next guest says a new tech bull market has now begun, and tech stocks are set up for a strong 24 as the AI spending tidal wave begins to hit the shores. His top picks are Apple, Microsoft, and Google. Joining us here at Post 9 today, Dan Ives, Wedbush Securities Analyst. Dan, it's great to have you
Great
back.
to be here.
Sounds like you think it's going to be all about spending, and use cases which are going to explode in the coming quarters, I guess. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's all about use cases. I mean, we right now have about 80 use cases for AI based on all of our survey work. 3 months ago, that was 15 to 20. And I think that's what we're seeing even in earnings. If you look at Palantir, you look at Microsoft, you look at Datadog, now it's the first, second derivative, and we believe the third and fourth are going to hit in 2024, which is what, in my opinion, the new tech bull market has begun.
Is that going to begin to manifest itself and ignite in some of the AWS reInvent events?
Yeah, I think it's going to be front and center. I mean, you saw it with Nadella. I think now you're seeing with Jassy, AWS, Google, clearly, Oracle going to be another one. And I think that's the key from an install-based perspective. You look at Adobe, you look at names like Oracle, you look at Salesforce, and of course, right now at the top of the mountain is, of course, Microsoft. But you look at what AWS is doing, that's a huge monetization opportunity for them. And I believe right now that's the golden goose. That's what this is going after. And we think it's $1 trillion of spend over the next decade. It's going to hit the shores of tech.
Enterprise tech only or consumer tech too?
Well, I think enterprise is 8 to 10x the opportunity right now of consumer tech. Now, when you look at consumer tech, I think that ultimately is the latter part where we're going to really see the Googles, the Metas, the other from a consumer advertising perspective. But Sarah, right now, the use cases that we're seeing explode is in enterprise.
What are you seeing that others are not seeing, that have already seen the run up in these stocks so far this year and have said they've dominated? And if the rally is going to expand, we need to see more participation, not just from the tech stocks.
Sure, and I think for us being in Asia 2 weeks, I mean, we saw it front and center in terms of not just use cases, but what the suppliers are talking about. You look through the supply chain, I think it all starts with chips. And I think what we're really seeing is right now an underestimation of what the demand looks like from the chip sector and from software. And I think when you look at names like Microsoft, that first now is starting to see these use cases explode. Datadog, I think Palantir is sort of the golden child of AI. That is how it's all going to form. And in terms of, to Sarah's point, the next wave is going to be broader tech in terms of small, mid-cap. And I think right now, a lot of bears, they're coming out of hibernation mode. And I believe they go back in terms of what I view as just a tech that ultimately could be up 8 to 10% more going into year end.
I'm trying to understand this use case thing, though. I mean, all right, we co-pilots out there, we can get a sense for that. And then there's this idea that there are going to be a lot of other tools shared by the big players for smaller enterprises. But what are you talking about? Are you saying use cases from a lot of companies for their customers, or are you talking about Microsoft providing all sorts of stuff into the enterprise?
Yeah, it's use case. I think nail on the head. It's use cases for that companies we're talking to across verticals, from life sciences, pharmaceutical, financials, government, where they're now seeing the use cases, clear ROI. Now they're building it. Where are they building it? On Microsoft, on AWS, on Google, on GCP. And that's why what we're starting to see right now in earnings season is you're starting to see the next phase of that. It's not just NVIDIA. Now you're seeing Microsoft, Datadog, Palantir. I ultimately believe Snowflake, and I think many others, Salesforce included. And I think that's what we're going to be talking about. You've always talked about use cases. What are the use cases?
Yeah.
We've done survey with, 670 enterprises. 80% of them said that they plan to aggressively spend on AI companies in 2024. We think it could be up to 8 to 10% of budgets from less than 1% today. That is really...
So what's going on? Is it the learning curve? Is it everybody sort of getting comfortable and understanding, again, the use case or how it can help them? I mean, and how long does that take?
Yeah, I think what's really happened is that the last 3 to 4 months, a lot of these companies, CIOs, they've kicked the tires, they've done the trials, they've done the beta periods. Now they look at it and be like, it's clear ROI. If I spent $1-2 million, I could get that back in the course of 2-3 months. So I think the ROI is there. It's board driven. And now it's not just hype. You're actually starting to see the use cases explode. And that's why it all starts with NVIDIA, then it goes to Microsoft and all the hyperscale players. And that's why, to me, it's not just to call it 5-7 players. I think as we look out, you're going to have 15, 20, 25 players across software and chips participating.
Finally, what if rates spike again? Or what if rates come down and then the market starts looking for other stuff to own as they start to price in a different rate regime?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's probably been the albatross, the shadow for tech stocks here. You know, and that's something that we're going to have to continue to fight. But I view it as, if I look at just going into next year, as long as there's no more what I view as black swan events. In terms of just the actual spend here, I think tech stocks, they're mispriced. Where I view tech stocks up about 20% into the next year, where we see things here, we could have definitely blips. And of course, Fed speak, 10-year, and a lot of worries out there. But to me, this is going to be a golden age for tech. It's AI driven. And I think ultimately that's why I believe that the start of the new tech bull market has begun.
So do the companies have to be profitable now?
Well, I think that's where you're seeing a much higher bar, right? In terms of what's going to come public, in terms of what investors want to own, a lot more pressure to be profitable. And that's where it goes to. This is more of a 1995 moment in terms of what we're seeing from tech spending relative to the start of the internet. But the difference is the profitable business models, the valuations. I just don't put it in a 1-year PE box relative to PE. I think if you look at the next 2, 3, 4 years, I believe tech is underpriced here, but what I view 20%.
Well, and the installed tech base is just it's a different world than it was in the mid-90s,
well,
right?
and that's a great point, because that's why Adobe, Oracle, that's why Nadella right now has a bottle of champagne with feet on the desk, because they know that Microsoft is really going
Nadella
after.
has a bottle of champagne with his feet up on the desk.
Look, because that,
So to speak.
Because right now, and they recognize the opportunity. Jassie's another one recognized. You look what Google's doing as well. That's why I think the install base plays here are going to continue to play out. I also think M&A. You look at Cisco, Splunk, that's just tip of the iceberg to what we're going to see here, especially when I view as more tech-friendly, despite FTC Con, where I think right now tech is not afraid of that, given what we've seen with Microsoft, Activision, and others.
We are going to hear from Cisco this week as well. Maybe we'll get some more on that deal. Good to see you back.
No, great to be here.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Dan Ice.
Huge week for retail earnings. Walmart, Home Depot, and Target among the big names set to report. CNBC is teaming up with the National Retail Federation, the NRF, and data insights company Affinity Solutions to launch a real-time monthly tracker of how much and where American consumers are spending each month. Let's get to Steve Leisman with the details. That sounds good, Steve.
Yeah, it's exciting, Sarah. Thank you. The CNBC NRF Retail Monitor, powered by Affinity Solutions, launching in October with a decline of 0.08% for retail, ex-auto, and gas. That's our headline number. And then core retail, which takes out restaurants, down 0.03. You can see that there. Both are down from gains in the prior month, year over year. The headline down 2.6 versus 4.9 the prior month. And then the core retail number 2.6 also versus 4.4. These are seasonally adjusted numbers. No other way to report retail except for seasonally adjusted. Over the past year, this data has been gradually slowing, kind of bucking or going against the trend reported by the government, which has shown surprising strength among the consumer. Looking at the monthly detail, gasoline station sales down 1.7, electronic and appliances down 1.4, furniture and home furnishings down also, but we have healthcare and non-store retailers, which is a really good internet indicator we're going to get here, and sporting goods and hobbies both up on the month. Affinity's data comes from 9 billion credit and debit card transactions every year, 140 million cards, 1,400 card issuers, all accounting for more than $500 billion in sales. And unlike the government, Sarah, their retail sales data comes from surveys. The retail monitor doesn't need to be revised because it comes from actual transactions. It's going to come out about a week before the census retail data on a monthly basis. Sarah?
I mean, sounds really good to get that sort of real-time tracking data on credit cards, Steve. So should we look at this as a way to tell? We're going to get retail sales report this week as a way to tell where that's going. How does it track? If you look back, how does it? Can you tell it all?
Yeah, we can. It tracks reasonably well the existing census data. But what we do find is that when we go back and look at our data versus the revised census data, it correlates more closely, suggesting that we're giving you a better first look at this data because, again, it's coming from actual transactions. There'll be changes that have to be made over time. We're seasonally adjusting the data using the same seasonal adjustment program used by the government. Their data shows a lot more volatility than ours does. We're not really quite sure why, but it strikes me that a better gauge of retail sales is a gauge that's not quite as volatile.
And you mentioned, you take out restaurants and the services spending is what's been troubling, right, lately for the Fed, worried about bringing inflation down. Goods spending, has it bottomed yet?
This could be the beginning of a bottom. And you mentioned services. Sarah, we're just beginning to cut this data up. we are going to be able to look at services. We're going to be able to drill down, for example, if there's a hurricane in a certain place, we can look at the retail spending in that area. We're going to be able to drill down to the holiday spending. And also, coming up in the next couple of months, one of the things that I'm really excited about, we're able to cut this data demographically. So we're going to look at by income and by age and by geographic area, so that we can see how is the lower income consumer doing versus the higher income consumer.
Yeah, no, ages should be interesting too, with all the worries about student loan payments resumption and all that.
Excellent point.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Sure,
Steve
thanks, Sarah.
Leishman, with our new retail data. Let's get to news update now. Courtney Reagan.
Thank you very much, Sarah. The main hospital in Gaza is no longer functioning, and this is coming from the World Health Organization today, which is warning of a, quote, dire and perilous situation for the hundreds of patients and others trapped inside the complex as Israeli troops and Hamas battle in surrounding areas. A huge shakeup in British politics today as well. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak brought in former Prime Minister David Cameron to be foreign minister. He also fired Suella Braverman, who is Home Secretary and responsible for law enforcement, immigration, and national security. The dismissal came after she wrote an op-ed ahead of weekend demonstrations in London, where she criticized police and called protesters, quote, hate marchers. And the presidential field here at home just got a little smaller. Senator Tim Scott has suspended his candidacy. The South Carolina Republican made the surprise announcement last night, saying the voters have been clear that now is not the time for him to run. Sarah, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Courtney Reagan. After the break, Mercedes Formula One team boss Toto Wolff joins us ahead of a huge race in Las Vegas this week and out of our new CNBC documentary Thursday. Don't miss it. We'll be right back.
Yeah, look at ZL. No cares given. Yo, ZL's out. Look at this. I don't know if I want to chase it. Yes, it would, but we'll see. I mean, still looking pretty good. If it can hold below 15,550, good sign. I would only risk to about this lower high right here. If we get a close above 15,570, we could head back up and possibly take out Friday's highs and make a new high and then unwind.
Just a few days away from a huge test for one of the U.S.'s fastest growing sports, Formula One, kicking off what is expected to be a star-studded Grand Prix race in Las Vegas later this week. I've spent the last few months diving deeper into the sport, attending Grand Prix across North America and Europe, and interviewing some of the key players in the space for a documentary that is set to debut
Yes,
Thursday. It's called
London
Inside Track: The Business of Formula
closes
One,
in
CNBC,
15
8 p.m.
minutes.
Eastern and Pacific. And here
So
to
let's
discuss
see.
ahead of the
And I
action
mean,
with
as we've been
BBC
seeing, we get a nice
Formula
pop
One
before the
team
London
principal,
close and then
Toto
a
Wolff,
fade.
who does star in this documentary. Toto, good to see you.
Good to see you, Sarah.
So you're gearing up for Vegas. Liberty Media, the parent company of F1, has spent a fortune on this race. How important is it for the future of Formula One?
It's big because obviously we have been shifting quite a lot of attention to the United States as one of the most important markets. And since we had these great traditional races in Austin, and then Miami was a fantastic add-on, and now we're going really big, and that is Las Vegas. Street circuit has been purpose-built, and we are super excited.
How do you quantify the impact that it will have on the sport and on the sport's growth in the U.S. market?
Liberty has made a considerable investment in Las Vegas, building their own structure, and I hope that it will be one of the great attractions in the United States. Now, hopefully, it's all gonna pinnacle up for this weekend, and have lots of people and great excitement and entertainment.
How do you think about where growth is going in the U.S. market? In the documentary, I look at some of the story here, Drive to Survive on Netflix, a big part of it, the Miami race, which is new, now Vegas. But how much more space do you think there is to grow here?
I think we have a pretty good setup at the moment. We're obviously racing also in
What was that?
Montreal and in Mexico City, so our footprint
Yeah,
is
yeah,
good there.
yeah.
I would see this as a correct representation of a global.
We're gonna see how it acts after the London close. I mean, we got London closing in less than 15 minutes.
And since Drive to Survive and the great entertainment that the sport has provided, the Lewis Hamilton Max Verstappen Championship in 2021, we have seen that phenomenal growth in the United States.
We have, but I don't have to tell you, this year Max Verstappen just won in Brazil, his 17th race of the season, a record streak. How problematic is that for the sport?
Well, as you know, we have some devoted Mercedes fans out there, small and larger. And it's about us, striking back. You cannot complain if you're one of the teams that's at the moment only second. We are second in the World Championship, but we got to come up with a better car with better performances in order to beat them. And obviously, for our spectators and fans, it's much better than that there is a close race until the end between two or more drivers. So, but it's up to us.
Yeah, so you're very focused on the development for the 2024 car. We're at the end of the season now. How confident are you that you are going to have a car that can compete with Red Bull?
Never in my life I have been confident, more the glass half empty guy, always, looking into the abyss rather than being optimistic. But I think we are well on track for next year. We've completely changed the concept of our car. That was really not performing as we expected in the last 2 years. So we got to give it everything, develop the car as good as we can, have the drivers in a good frame of mind, and then attack next year. And if we have done a good enough job, we will see by then.
Yeah, I mean, I have this. People always ask now that I have done a deep dive into the sport, which is more important, the car or the driver? This is something we talk about. You talk about. Is the car more important than the driver? You've got Lewis Hamilton. It's arguably one of the best drivers in history.
You're the expert. What would you judge?
I think it's what I say is the car is most important, but you can't have a winning car without a winning driver as well. If you have the worst driver in a winning car, it's not going to cut it. And Red Bull's showing us that, right?
You see, Sarah, you're the expert. Nobody can tell you anything about Formula One anymore. It's the best driver in a bad car is never going to win a race nor a championship. But equally, you can't win a championship with the best car and the driver not being on top of this game. So I think fundamentally you need a very strong car, and then it's about adding it with the best possible driver you can have, and that's going to be the winning formula.
The other question I get, and we do look into that, we dive into this question in the documentary, and I'm curious, Toto, how you answer this question is whether F1 has peaked. What do you think?
I think you got to be wary all the time. Like I said before, we're in a great place in some of the markets, including the United States, that we have growing audiences in the most important demographic, and that happens in other places in the world. But we fundamentally need to provide it with good entertainment. It's an honest, it's sports. It's honest. Stopwatch never lies. And the entertainment is the consequence, not the other way around. We don't want to do scripted content. And if the sport works well, if we're able to show, great fighting on the track and great competition, I think we can grow from there. Nothing that speaks against it, but it needs the characters, it needs the fights on track, and if we can combine that, I think we can grow. We can continue to grow.
And what about on the business side of it, Toto? You guys have, every team gets sponsors. You put the sponsors on the side of the car and work with them. The overall F1 gets sponsors. Is there a finite amount of space there? Do you get higher prices as you run out of space for sponsors? I'm just curious about the business trajectory as well.
As we've discussed very often, you have these several pillars of our income streams, and obviously Formula One income, which is sponsorship, promotion deals, and TV deals are very, very important, and that's going very strong. As to the drivers for our own revenue, it's besides all of that is sponsorship, and we are keen in staying loyal to long-term relationships or to start new exciting journeys with new partners. There's a lot of interest from the technology environment in the United States. We're talking about some really, really good and big brands. We are always keen in keeping the level and the quality of the sponsors high. We don't want to add an infinite amount of number of new partners because we want to provide the best experience and the best possible return on investment of their marketing dollars.
Toto, it's great to talk to you ahead of a big week. I'll see you later in Vegas. Thank you very much for coming on.
See you later.
Toto Wolff, the head of the Mercedes team. And a reminder, the premiere of Inside Track, the business of Formula One, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on CNBC. Toto Wolff does play a big role. And I'm not going to give away too much, but I get in a car with him. He's a former racer himself.
Top speed?
High speed. On top. They go like more than 200.
Right, but how fast did you go?
We went 180.
Wow.
And I was terrified, but also it was a blast.
You may have a second career after this, consulting with F1.
Oh, I don't know about that, but it was a lot of fun, and there's a lot to learn. There we are in the pit garage, where the cars are.
That is amazing.
These cars are
That was in
amazing.
Montreal.
What are they spending on this car?
The
they're
R&D that
developing?
goes into the car is
Yeah.
like $50 million, and then the cars are a few $1 million.
50 million.
So, and guess what? They go to the museum after the end of the season, and then they redo a new car next time. They are, as Toto says, engineering miracles. These cars.
Here you were. I saw you had a helmet in hand. That must have been you were about to get in.
I bought the helmet for the hot lap, which is when I get in the car.
I cannot wait. Still to come this morning.
8
in
minutes
the next
till
hour, one of
London
the biggest sovereign wealth
closes.
funds in the world.
Still showing
Nearly 700
strength.
billion in assets. The head of Singapore's sovereign wealth fund is with us. That kicks off in about 10 minutes.
Let's right off Tesla. Haters need this thing to continue pushing. Are you in it, huh? Not too bad didn't get that fill. Yep. Minutes till London close.
Good stuff.
Number of movers to get to as we close out the hour. Dom Chu's got that. Hey, Dom.
All right, good morning, Carl. So shares of Tesla have been moving between gains and losses in early trading, but they're now solidly higher, up by over 3%, right around session highs, getting some attention today on news that the electric vehicle giant is updating the terms of its Cybertruck order agreements that stipulates purchasers of that EV are prohibited from selling it inside the first year of ownership without permission from Tesla, or they could face possible legal action and or the loss of privileges of buying future Tesla vehicles. So those shares up 3%. We're also watching shares of NVIDIA. The chip maker is also up near session highs right now, working on a 9-day winning streak. NVIDIA right now up about fractionally here, unveiling one of its newest chips designed for training and enabling artificial intelligence related computer models. That so-called H200 graphics processing unit, or GPU, includes capabilities that will help it generate text, images, or prediction based on those AI models. And we'll cap things off with shares of cybersecurity company CrowdStrike hitting a fresh high for the year, up about 1.75%. Helped along by analysts at Stifel. They've upgraded that stock to a buy from hold. The target price goes up to $225. It was $153. They see a slew of potential positive catalysts in the future that can help it fuel better growth, better profit margins, and better free cash flow, David. So those shares up 1.75%. I'll send things back over to you.
Dom, thank you. Dom Chu back at HQ. I'll end here with taking a look at shares of Novo Nordisk as well. Of course, a company we've been focused on along with Eli Lilly, given their two key drugs, Wegovy and Mounjaro. Wegovy. We got the specifics or a lot more data from the SELECT trial testing the impact of Wegovy on cardiovascular outcomes. That was presented this weekend. And it kind of, there seems to be something of a mixed reaction. But generally, the research I've been reading this morning is quite positive in terms of what it meant for...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're approaching 11 o'clock. ES, so far, it's still holding above this morning's lower high, which is 44.25 and a half. And as long as it remains underneath this, we can expect it to come back down and potentially break or test 4,400 even. Do y'all have any questions for me? Not at the moment. Thanks for your time today. You're welcome. Thanks for the morning confirmation. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, so remember, those of you that are green on the day, do not overtrade. All right. We'll probably end up seeing a nice reversal if this holds around here, or even if it takes out the highs. We could probably look to catch a nice trade towards the end of the day. But other than that, try to sit on your hands if you're already up on a day. Okay, base hits are gonna get you to home plate. So with that being said, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy Monday, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.